Hi everyone. As I said earlier, each person is unique and has a unique story to narrate. So we are all on a journey in this world, and our final destination is heavenly Jerusalem, God's abode. In Hebrews 12:22, we read like this: But you have come to Mount Zion, and to the city of living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to innumerable angels in festal gathering, and to the assembly of firstborns who are enrolled in heaven, and to a judge who is God of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and the sprinkled blood that speaks graciously than the blood of Abel. Yes, that heavenly Jerusalem is our final destination, and we are on a journey. In this journey, each of us has a unique story to narrate. The story of how the invisible hands of God has guided us and protected us, and how He has enabled us to make a difference in the life of other people. So I know many people who have an incredible testimony to share. I want to capture their stories for our Living Waters channel. But due to COVID situation, our movements are restricted. So I am thinking how I can capture those stories. So meanwhile, I'll have a chit chat with my husband and I'll find from him how God has transformed his life. So let's hear from him. So he is here. So let's hear from him. You are an ambitious young man who wanted to make it big in the world. But the path God showed was different. So how easy or how difficult was that transition?
Well, it was a very difficult moment for me. So I was in a different path, trying to make it big in the world, and then trying to become an extremely successful person. Used to live in the world of self-help books, and then I was always intrigued by this spirituality and spiritual world. I myself was an altar boy when I was small, but to be honest, the path was really tough, right? You kind of move away from your regular path, and then you're moving to a different path, right? So I would say it was a very tough path. Yeah.
So would you regret your decision?
No, I never regret. I mean, it was a very fulfilling journey, I would say. Something larger than life, right? You get that sense of the feeling that you're doing something, not just to acquire something, some fame or some money. It's beyond that, right? So it's a lot more fulfilling. So I don't regret. I'm in fact very happy that I took that path.
So my spiritual inclination would have caused some stress or struggle for you, at least initially. So how did you deal with that?
Well, to be honest, I thought I was more spiritual than you in the beginning. Because I used to go to the church, I used to sit there silently pray, I used to hear some voices, and then I always thought that, oh, God is speaking to me directly, like I have direct access to God. And how come somebody is telling me something that I don't know, right? I mean, I'm hearing directly from God. So that was my understanding. Of course, later I got to know that that is not the right voice that I'm hearing. That's not from God, right? So it was very difficult. I mean, as I said, the first difficult thing was to accept that my spirituality is lesser than yours, right? I'm a big ego guy, right? How can I come down, right? But then I slowly realized I am probably at a very early initial stage of spirituality, or not even there, right? So it was difficult. Then the usual mistake, right? Once you think that okay, you need to do something, then you kind of start at the top, right? You don't take baby steps, right? So I straight away jumped into Confessions by Saint Augustine, started to read that, couldn't make head or tail out of it. So but then after a while I realized, okay, it's not that simple. It's like you have to take one step at a time, and that's
It's
how.
a
So it was.
journey. It's a
It's
journey.
a
It
journey.
takes time.
Yeah.
So what is one thing that you learned in married life?
Well, the most important thing, or something that impacted me most, is how you collaborate with Creator to bring life to the world, right? So I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, I got married, and then we decided to have children, or we decided not to have children, as if like you are controlling that whole process. But if you have gone through this entire process, then you know that you hardly have any role, right? I mean, it's a very basic thing that you do, but beyond that, it's all God, right? A small cell getting formed, and then the eyes, the ears, all getting formed, and then it's a big miracle that happens right in front of your eyes, right? So in my opinion, getting to collaborate with the Creator, and then to understand how Creator works and to bring life to the world, right? Most of us do not see it like that, right? I mean, the media all around us, they try to show all the different things. They try to center the message on emotion and emotional things, and something that people like to see. But for me the most fulfilling thing is that to have this wonderful opportunity to collaborate with the Creator, to bring life to the world, and then see them becoming big and bigger and bigger. That's been to see it not just from an emotional perspective, but something beyond that, right? That's the huge learning that I would say that I got from marriage.
That's an incredible journey.
Yeah.
And how do you assess your married life?
I'm a very successful married person. My wife is laughing, which means that I'm fairly successful.
No, you are successful.
But I think not just in front of camera, she also laughs, even otherwise. So I would say I'm okay. I'm not bad. I did decent. Probably, the time will tell, like, how much I could give spirituality to my children or help in their spiritual development. Or a period of time later, somewhere we'll know whether that really worked or not. Right now, we can put all these theories how they'll grow up and all that. But and with for me and my wife, I think we have a pretty good understanding. We hardly fight, and whenever one person,
It's very difficult to pick a fight with him. I try many times to pick a fight, but he either will remain silent or he will make fun of me. He would take it in a humorous way. So it's very difficult to start a fight with him.
Yeah,
That's a secret.
yeah, I think some kind of compatibility that God gave, right? I mean, to be honest, we both are opposite poles, right? I mean, she's a very reserved kind of a character. I am like the opposite of that. I like to talk to people, go around a bit. But somehow it's surprising that there's like fantastic compatibility between us. So
We
I'm
think
like,
alike actually. So suppose if I want to make a call, I take my phone, try to dial his number, he'll call me immediately. Or we both open our mouth to say the same thing. So we think alike, and sometimes he asks me whether we have some kind of synchronous mind.
happened many times.
Yeah, it happens always.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing from God. We are very thankful for that compatibility. So some fun questions. What is one thing that you like in me?
I'm getting into dangerous territory, I think. But see, the good thing that I like is that you are open, right? When you say something, at least 90%, I hope, at least that's my experience, that you mean what you say, right? So you're not like scheming something in behind and then telling something, a different story, trying to manipulate me. I never felt manipulated, right? So that's like a huge thing. So that I appreciate that a lot. Plus you give me my space, which I also appreciate. I've heard like stories where people tend to control the other person a lot and all that. So this kind of a mutual understanding, and I think I like that space, and I think I
Very wide space.
yeah. Yeah, she lets me do some crazy stuff. Even now I'm doing some crazy stuff, but she is okay. I mean, on the professional side at least. But yeah, and it somehow it's working. So I like those things actually, right? And generally the mutual self-respect, right? Not trashing the other person, and having shared values. Spirituality is a huge role. I tend to learn a lot from her. I still am like growing in that space. I'm nowhere near. So yeah, those are the things I like the most.
Slightly more difficult question. What is the one thing that you dislike in me?
I don't want to miss my dinner today. So, so let's. I don't think. I mean, to be honest, I don't think anything is there as such which I would say I dislike. I'll have to think hard, but I can't remember anything immediately, right? So
That's good for you and for dinner.
I'm not missing my dinner today. Yeah.
And where is God's position in your marriage?
Yeah. So I would say I earlier during the marriage, at the beginning of my marriage, right? So as I told, I was trying to become a very successful person, when I'm living. So I'm like, I was in that path. So I used to go to church, pray a little bit, be an average guy, and then, but mostly I believed that I need to, go ahead in that direction. And then spirituality was always like God, and spirituality was never like a very, I would say, the number one priority in my life. Right? I mean, people who know me in engineering college, they know I hardly used to go to church. Once in a while I used to go, right? So, but I had a previous history where I used to be an altar boy and all that, but in between, and God protected me during those days. I didn't fall into any mortal sin or anything, but it was like a happy-go-lucky kind of a guy in the 90s. Anybody who's done college studies in the 90s, I was a typical person like that. But then after marriage or somewhere around that time, I realized that the worldly success is not the criteria. You don't get that kind of satisfaction or happiness just from worldly success, right? It has to be something beyond that. And then that is where my world started changing, and then God started to occupy a slightly higher priority. And then it was not an overnight thing. It takes some time to make that adjustment and to make that change. So I had to go through a lot of these retreats, and then go through some counseling sessions, get some interior healing wherever I needed those healing. And then over a period of time, God's importance slowly started growing in my life. And today I can say that God is my number one criteria in my life, right? I mean, I don't know. There could be cases where I may fall, but at least criteria wise, God is the most important person in my life, right? And then and I try to match my actions around that. I don't want to be just like somebody who speaks big things but doesn't do, right? And so I try to match my actions with that. I'm not a perfect person. I've made a lot of mistakes all through. Even today I'm making mistakes and trying to learn from all of that, but God is helping me a lot in that area, and then trying to make God as the most important part of my life.
Wonderful to hear that. And
Yeah.
that's all I had.
Okay.
I hope you all enjoyed this short
Hope
session.
you don't have any dislikes. You didn't talk about your dislikes, right?
Your dinner is safe. That is
Okay.
enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So thank you all for watching. See you next time. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
God bless you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for watching The Living Waters. If you are here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. If you have any comments, feedback, suggestions or prayer requests, email us at info@thelivingwaters.life or WhatsApp at the below mentioned number. We would love to hear from you. God bless you all. Thank you.